It seemed the conflict between the Order of the Flaming Rose and the Scoia'tael would turn Vizima into charred ruins. Foltest, however, found a solution. He let the two sides bleed each other. The Order's power waned quickly following the Grand Master's mysterious death. The flower of elven youth perished. Fighting in Vizima's streets, there were no victors.
Welcome back to another episode of Witcher Guild. I decided to make today's video on the Order of the Flaming Rose. So just for everyone wondering, this guild was actually created by CD Projekt Red. It's not canon to the books, but it is certainly canon to the games. So a question some of you might have is, what actually is the Order of the Flaming Rose? So here's some information on that. So the Order of the Flaming Rose is very prominent in the first Witcher game. Not so much in the other two, but you do meet them in every game surprisingly, in some way. So a question you might have is, what is the Order of the Flaming Rose? So the Order of the Flaming Rose is a militant religious order, and they had three main goals, and they were to defend the downtrodden and spread the belief of the eternal fire. However, they did also use brute force to hunt down heretics, or as they like to call anyone that didn't agree with them, a heretic. So what I want to go over today is its full history, members from this order, and, well, I suppose you could say I'll go over it in the history, but its state throughout the games. So the Order of the Flaming Rose was founded in 1268 with the help from the Redanian intelligence service, and this was mainly from Dijkstra and Oribasius. And this was to counter the sorceresses who were organising themselves and gaining power. You know, for example, the Lodge of Sorceresses. They were working a way in which they could gain every king's court and control a lot. So this organisation was actually built on the remains of the Order of the White Rose, and the White Rose operated in Temeria for centuries, but became corrupted and instead of staying true to their original goal, were much more interested in getting land from nobles, and also charging 1,000 crowns to attain membership. So they were built to maintain the goals that original group had, but do it properly. So Redania didn't actually support them in any way, and they didn't even let them set up their base in Redania, so instead the Order's first headquarters was located in Cloister of Vizima's Temple Quarter. So in the beginning, the Order was actually very underestimated by monarchs and other nobles, but the Grandmaster was actually very cunning and intelligent. He was also, however, a fanatic. So, the Order aimed to gain as much power over people's souls as they could. But to achieve this goal, the Order waged war against other organisations, such as the Lodge of Sorceresses, and they even began to persecute witches and freaks, such as witches. But this was only the beginning, as later on there was a proper attack against the mages. So one of the most prominent leaders of this group is Jachin de Aldersberg, and I will go over him in a character video because I believe he deserves his own. But what I will say is spoiler alert for The Witcher 1, and I'll let everybody who doesn't want to have spoilers for that leave now. So, after Geralt killed Jachin de Aldersberg from the order of King Radovid and Foltest, the Order then began to dissociate itself with its former leader's goals, and its former leader's goals was to try and prevent the White Frost by turning humans into mutants and making it so when the White Frost came they would be able to survive in the new climate, but it would make humans not even human anymore. And they actually even changed their coat of arms. So when Jachin de Aldersberg came into power, the sigil was a rose that was on fire, the Flaming Rose. But after he died, they decided to change their logo to a rose, but this time surrounded by a golden ribbon. So, the Order then gave up all its previous possessions, including its original home base and everything, and was relocated by King Radovid V of Redania to new land in Redania. He actually granted it to them as well. So this land was in Roggeveen. He even helped them build a castle stronghold of Castle Barien-Murg, and throughout all of this, the Order then began to stop killing monsters and were also invited to peace talks at Loch Muin, as they were meant to be support for Radovid and to also provide protection. So, after the events at Loch Muin, the Order took part in a witch hunt, which happened straight after the unveiling of the Lodge of Sorceresses and their goals and everything they'd done with killing kings, etc. So, after we saw at the end of The Witcher 2, Nilfgaard attacked, and this caused the Third War of Nilfgaard, which is what happens in The Witcher 3. So, the Order of the Flaming Rose was sent by King Radovid to fight in a battle that took place on the Pontar, which is where they crossed. So, a large portion of the Order was sacrificed. After this battle, they found out that Radovid had sold their estates, fortresses, and outposts to the highest bidder. He'd also seized their treasury and disbanded their order. So, obviously this is going to upset a lot of people from the Order because he basically sent them to go and die, and then after the few that survived came back, he got rid of everything they owned. So this caused their current Grandmaster, Ulrich, to go kind of insane, and he ended up declaring war on Redania. He was also very fanatical too. So when members of the Order didn't really want to go to war with Redania and noticed that he was kind of going a bit insane, they decided to leave, and they joined Radovid's witch hunters, or some of them even became freelancers, or I imagine some of them just left and went and did something else. So meanwhile, Siegfried de Loo takes a large portion of soldiers to oppose the current Grandmaster, Ulrich, and the other radical clerical officers were eventually slain by Geralt at the request of Adela, and their remaining followers died at night against the sheriff's army. So, after all of this, the new Grandmaster reunited the Order. They gained respect and even were able to send a representative, Count Arthur Taylors of Dorndale, to the International Knights Tourney in Beauclair in Tucson. So one thing that might confuse you all about all this is that I mentioned Siegfried de Loo, right? And you might be thinking, oh yeah, Siegfried from The Witcher 1. Well, apparently Siegfried de Loo and Siegfried of Denel are actually different people. There's a theory that they're the same person, but for this video we're going to assume that they are probably different people, because this entire lore wouldn't work if you kill Siegfried in The Witcher 1, you know what I mean? So you kind of have to assume here and there, you know, it's a little bit confusing. So that is the full history of this order, and now I'm going to go over every member within this order that's notable, such as the Grandmasters, the Knights, and their affiliates. So to begin with, Grandmasters of this order are Jacques de Aldersberg, Siegfried of Denel, Ulrich, and Siegfried de Loo. Siegfried of Denel is obviously optional because he might not live, depending on your choice. So, Knights of this order consist of Tybalt, Roderick de Wet, Arthur Tallis of Dorndale, Adalbert, Anthony Pefale, Anselm, Eric Vogel, Eric von Kidon, Ernest Goltz, Evariste of Metena, Patrick de Wazy, Peter Neyher, Polycarp of Rinde, Lieutenant von Hurst, Fete de Amin, Robert, Thunder, Tur, Lery, and their affiliates are White Revier, Adalbert, and Hugo Bold. But anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. This video is not going to be as long as the other ones because this entire guild doesn't have as much information on it as say the Lodge of Sorceresses, but it's certainly an interesting one. As always, if you're new, be sure to subscribe as I make Witcher videos like this every other day, and you can subscribe and get those in your sub box. If you liked this video, be sure to drop it a like, and if you didn't like it, comment down below what it was you didn't like about it. I also want to say to everybody watching, be sure to follow me on Twitter, as I have it automatically update that whenever I post a video, it'll post onto Twitter. So you'll be able to see on Twitter if you're not as active in your YouTube sub box, or my video doesn't appear in the sub box. I also will be probably posing you guys some questions, possibly for Q&As in the future, which might be cool. And to end this video, as always, a big thank you to the Patreon pledges. You guys are so cool. Thank you so much. You make these videos better than anything I could do. Seriously, it gives me so much more motivation that you guys care enough to donate. But anyway, thank you for watching, everybody. I'll see you all later. Have an awesome week.